You're not walking away from the game 100%. I don't care who you are, but I think that there's a risk reward to what we do, right? And if you're risking to get that close as you can to that 124 to take care of your family and generations on down, is it worth it going out there giving another shot? That's a question that he has to answer himself, even after the doctors tell him.
What's going on? This is Keyshawn. We got another episode of All Facts, No Breaks. But before we get going, I want to remind all of you out there to follow us on All Facts Pod on social media or wherever you may get your podcasts for that matter. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. We need to hit 100,000 before the Super Bowl. 100,000. That's what we need to hit. You got to help us do that. Okay, we'll have a great show today. That's the plan. We got the former San Diego Charger linebacker, Shawne Merriman, joining us, and we'll talk to him obviously later. What's up, Keyshawn?
What's up? Crazy Monday Night Football. Falcons stun Eagles 22-21. What did you think? Well, first of all, they should have won, I think, the Eagles. They threw on third down.
Which is fine.
So who's at fault, you think? Sirianni, Saquon dropping the ball, or the fact that the defense got scored on within a minute and a half?
It's defense, $130, I think it was $136, 70 yards, no timeout. You allowed a guy who was 3-10 on Monday Night Football to go down the field methodically and get you in the end to take home the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins. So I believe Vic Fangio and the defense played prevent defense to prevent the Philadelphia Eagles from winning the game. I don't have a problem with the call. It was fine. Yeah, you could have.
There's nothing wrong with the call.
So if they run the ball and the clock runs down,
30,
you take 40 seconds off, you kick the field goal, yes. But I would probably throw the ball to Saquon Barkley 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, I mean, if he wasn't open, Jalen Hurts probably runs the ball,
He's
right?
going to run the ball. It's a two-way go.
Yeah, but he's expecting him to catch the ball. It's a wide-open catch. You get the 3 yards. It is what it is, but
it didn't happen.
It didn't happen that way, and now it looks bad because he dropped the ball. See, you catch the ball, you're gonna get the 3 yards. If you don't catch the ball, he's wide open. Or if he's not wide open, the dude's just gonna run, get 40 yards, get the field goal, and they'll have less time.
Saquon, first thing they do is they look at their hands and they drop the ball. Like, your hands didn't
running
do it.
back thing. That's a
no,
running
I
back
said everybody
thing.
They drop it and they look at their hands. It's like, you don't need to look at your hands. You drop the ball. But again, I would give it to Saquon 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, exactly.
In that situation, would I have liked to see them call a different play? Maybe. Yeah, just run the ball. Don't get all cute. Take the 3, run the clock down.
It's not even that cute. It's a one little one pitch and go. It's whatever.
Yeah, the play was fine.
Yeah.
It worked to perfection. But run the damn ball, man.
All right.
Stop it. Just run the damn ball.
So how do you feel about let's talk about the person that had the game-winning touchdown. That's Kirk Cousins in the game-winning drive. Do you think he's going to get benched still at some point, or you think
I think
been playing
right
well?
now it's a week-to-week situation with him.
Yeah, because they got Penix.
They wind up
first round.
winning. He looked bad week 1. He looked better week 2. Let's see what it looks like week 3, 4, 5. It's week to week before they decide it ain't working out no more.
And it's not like, let's talk about the rookie quarterbacks. It's not like the rookie quarterbacks have been doing too hot. There's none of them have thrown a touchdown this season. What do you think's the problem there? You think they just need more time?
Rookies.
Tom Brady talked about it. And
they're rookies. They need time, Keyshawn. Jaden Daniels is playing the best out of all of them, in my opinion. But when you talk about Bo Nix, you talk about Caleb Williams, Drake May doesn't even get on the field. They use Kobe Brissett as a pinata and get him beat up a little bit so Drake May can see what the NFL is all about. I think Caleb will eventually start to get better with the weapons. They got to get Keenan Allen back healthy and get him in there, and Aduze, just get him healthy so they all can get on the field all at the same time. But I'm not worried about the rookie quarterbacks at all. I think they'll be fine. It's only week 2.
You think a quarterback's going to win Rookie of the Year? Or you think someone like Marvin Harrison Jr., who had 2 touchdowns, could win it? And also, how do you feel about it?
I still think Jaden Daniels will win Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Because he'll win enough games and he'll have pretty good statistics. I still think that he'll win it. I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. will win it because, he had those 2 touchdowns, but is Kyler Murray going to continue to feed him the rock? Because Kyler Murray said a week ago, he said it ain't his job to get the ball. And then a week later, he wind up getting it to him. So will he go back to it ain't his job again?
Yeah, I feel you. No, I feel like they have good synergy, though. I don't know if you watched the game, but I feel like they're doing pretty good.
No, it was an Arizona game in a small TV in the left-hand corner with the Rams. Why would I watch that? It's the Rams.
Yeah.
Small TV in the corner, about a 12-inch.
Yeah, I feel you. Now we have former San Diego Charger Shawne Merriman.
Joining us is all-pro linebacker Shawne Merriman, former of the San Diego Chargers, as well as the Buffalo Bills. What's up, Shawne?
Yo, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Just sitting here enjoying football over these last 2 weeks with my son, Keyshawn, who's on the show with me.
How you doing, man?
Yo, what's up, my man?
Chilling. I was a big Chargers fan before I was a Panthers fan. ULT, Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, all that. But I'm unfortunately a Panthers fan now. So,
hey, look, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So, Shawne, the Chargers have gotten off to a fast start. They 2-0 for the first time since 2012. And I know you are an ambassador of the Los Angeles Chargers, even though I always want to still say San Diego Chargers. How are you feeling as an ambassador of the team and where you guys are right now?
I think, to be honest, there was a lot of excitement coming into the year. For one, because Jim Harbaugh too. But the other reason is they had a team last year. They was probably the best team that didn't make the playoffs. And I think that everybody's seeing the culture change and what's happened. And to be honest, man, you talk about the San Diego Chargers. I mean, I don't think we've seen a team like this as far as the excitement and what's around it since the times I played there under Marty. Same type of feel, same type of coach's attitude. And the leadership that hasn't been there over the last couple of years, man. So that's what's happening right now with him.
So you mentioned Marty Schottenheimer. You also played with Norv Turner and had some success under both of those head coaches. What's different now, though, with Jim Harbaugh opposed to Brandon Staley over the last couple years?
Truthfully, identity. And I know we hear that word a lot, man, but I think in this case, you can see it not just in the players, but the coaching staff. You know what team is showing up week to week. And last year, I went to every home game, and I'm sitting around trying to figure out what team is going to show up on Sundays. Are they going to run the football? Are they going to pass the football? Are they physical? Are they finesse? You just didn't know. I mean, half the time, they couldn't even line up in time, before the ball was snapped. So you just didn't know what team is going to show up. You see what team is showing up now. And I think it started with Jim Harbaugh actually drafting Joe Alt, the right tackle. They had Neighbors and some other, big skill guys there that was left that everybody thought they were going to draft. And he was telling everybody indirectly, this is who we are. We're going to protect Justin Herbert and run the football. And that's exactly what they've done over the last couple of weeks.
You mentioned Joe Alt from Notre Dame. They took him with the 5th pick in the entire draft. I had an opportunity to watch him basically beat the shit out of our defense last year in South Bend, Indiana, up close in person. I wanted to see what he was all about, and he is certainly real at the right tackle position. But they got both bookends solidified. They got the left and the right tackle spot pretty solidified for the future. When you look at this offense, though, what is it that they need to just kind of keep it going? What's the missing piece?
One of the biggest things, and this started at Jim Harbaugh being when he was at Michigan, they ran the football. And so when they did start passing the football, it was normally play action and big plays down the field. That's what's happening. This offense is going to open up. Yes, they are physical. They're going to keep running the football and establishing the run game. But we will see as the season go on, those play actions, the Quentin Johnson and Ladd, some of those guys, they're going to get involved at some point in time during the season. But, man, to come out and be able to establish a run, and Keyshawn, man, like when somebody running the football, it is demoralizing for a defense. Like, there is nothing worse than somebody able to run the football and you can't stop them. And what happens is those linebackers, those safeties, they start to move up in the box because they got to come in and help out. And that's when you start getting the one-on-ones, the deep balls down the fields. It's coming. It's just that right now they're establishing who they are, and they've been doing it. J.K. Dobbins, man, has been going off. And I don't even think that they're done because Gus, the other running back, he hasn't even got going yet. J.K. Dobbins been the workhorse. But once both of those guys get going, it's going to open up on the outside. Those deep balls and play actions down the field is going to open up, man. So it's coming. I know that everybody's seeing, the pounding ground, the close sets, the power formations, and them just gashing and running the football. But it's going to be a point in time where those play actions, man, start opening up and those big plays down the field happen.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins has a resurgence from his career. He's been injured for the past, 2 years. So do you think he's a top 10 running back now?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I talked to him, before the season started, a couple of months when they were just reporting the training camp. And I told him, because I told my Achilles, it was one of the reasons that got me retired. I lost that burst, and I was older when it happened. With him, man, it was young enough with his injuries that he can actually bounce back from it. But you can tell that he's not fully 100% back, because when he get in open space, that burst to start to separate. He's starting to get walked down a little bit, but that vision never changes. The
Yeah.
ability to see holes and get through the holes never changes. And that burst is going to slowly come back, man. But I'm so happy for that dude, because not only did he have Achilles, he had a knee. And this is one of the best players coming out of college. He had such high hopes, man. So him to get back on the field right now, performing the way he is a big deal for him.
So you earned Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie. I mean, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Shawne, who do you see as early favorites right now on that side of the ball?
I like Chop Robinson down there in Miami, out of Penn State. And I said this before. I think on the defense side of the ball, I think that he was a steal in the draft. And I know he went early, but I think he still was a steal. He was a top 5 guy. If this draft wasn't so loaded in the skill position, the quarterback position, and so many teams needing other positions early on, he would have went in the top 5. This is a dude in that defense down there that you can line up on both sides, left and right. You can blitz him down the middle. On the opposite side of the other outside linebacker pass rusher, Phillips. And I had a Sean Phillips that I played with and with the Chargers, and you need a guy on the opposite side. But I got Chop, man, winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't see anybody else that's going to step up and do it.
How you guys feel about Dallas Turner? That's my guy.
I like Dallas, but the thing is, what's happening is, and this is why I said Chop. People forget when on the defense side of the ball, when you got an offense that can score points. And I know that Tua just went down, and they're trying to figure that situation out down there. But before the season, when Tua was there, you know that they're going to put up a lot of points. So what happens is, when you get up 10-0, 14-0, 17-3, as a defensive player, you can pin your ears back and just go, right? So you gotta, when you start looking at the defensive player of the years, you gotta look at the guys who, if they can put up points on the offense side of the ball, because if they can't, you're not going to be in pass rush situations a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, you talked about Tua. Let's talk about that for a second, you guys. So there's no plans for him to retire. He said he's seeing a specialist. What are your guys' thoughts on the whole situation with the 4 concussions in 5 years, or five concussions in 4 years?
As I say to you and I say to everybody, I'm never one to tell somebody what to do with their career. I just can only go on my opinion of what I would personally do. I personally would try to figure out a way to get that 124, as close to that $124 million, and call it quits. Now, does that mean negotiating with the team as a buyout? Whatever it is, I'm trying to get to the money. Now, as far as playing football, yeah, but when you've had so many concussions in a short period of time, and the way these things are happening, it's not like these are normal football tackles. These are normal football plays. These aren't vicious, just gross hits to the point where it's like, okay, these are just normal as could be. I played with Wayne Corbett, Sean, and Keyshawn. And Corbett could get basically thumped on the head and he would be done, right? And he would come back. And I remember telling Wayne one time, I said, man, you know what, man, you shouldn't be playing, dog. But he wanted to play. I want to see people with their families, their kids, their grandkids, have a healthy life. But when you are programmed a certain way in playing football, it's hard to walk away when you've done so much. You got the right coach now. You got the right situation. You're the starting quarterback. You don't have to look over your shoulders or worry about being bit. I understand all of those things. But your health is so important. And the doctors, over the next month that he'll be seeing all these specialists, they'll tell him what to do. They'll give him the right information, and I'm sure he'll make the right educated decision along with the NFL and the rest of the team.
Keyshawn, I'm with you on that. And this is why, man, I never like to tell somebody what to do with their money and their career. I think it's unfair because we don't know what the situation is or what he got to take care of. And I also think that all of us as football players, man, to be honest, we in the way we know what we signed up for. Right. I'm not making it okay, but I think that we all know that we're not going to walk away from the game 100%. You're going to have a finger, or a knee, a shoulder. You're not walking away from the game 100%. I don't care who you are, but I think that there's a risk reward to what we do. Right. And if you're risking to get that close as you can to that 124 to take care of your family and generations on down, is it worth it going out there giving another shot? That's a question that he has to answer himself, even after the doctors tell him. I think that it might be a situation that they sit down and talk to him and say, look, okay, you want to go back out there, but one more time, and we're pulling you. No matter what you do, if this happens one more time, you don't have an option. So if I'm him, man, I would really contemplate, for one, how the severity of it. And Keyshawn, you said it wasn't a vicious tackle. This is Hammond to say it was no collision with the knee. It was no big blow. This is a regular football play that it ended in him having a concussion. And so, like you said, it's almost like a fighter, man. When a guy been knocked out enough, it don't take much. A little tap on the chin, a little something, and he is out cold. And I think that's what we're approaching with Tua. But again, I don't think it's for me or anybody else out there to tell this man what to do for the rest of his career or what he feels and how he should take care of his family. I think that he got to make that decision. But if he does, I think that the doctors or whoever is surrounding him saying, if it happens one more time, we're going to make the decision to pull you and we cannot put you back on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So two teams that aren't expected to go or be 0-2 right now are the Bengals and the Ravens. Which one are you guys more scared for this season?
Scared for?
Yeah, like just feel like they're not going to make the playoff. Because I feel like those two teams are playoff teams, but they're starting off 0-2. It's not good when people start off 0-2.
Probably Cincy. I feel like Cincinnati has some internal stuff. Because, everybody wants their money. Jamar Chase want to get his money. And you didn't pay him, but you paid the quarterback. And you didn't pay T. Higgins, but you paid the quarterback. So you got some internal issues going on with that team, and they 0-2. With the Ravens, they just got to figure it out. They just got to figure out how not to lose games that they've done. They've done this in the past. They lost to the Raiders in the past. This past weekend, but they've lost games in the past in the end. Kansas City's a tough out for anybody, but I would be more scared for Cincinnati than I am Baltimore and Lamar.
I'm with you on that too, because I feel like after McDonald left, and some of the defense, guys left, and Patrick Queen gone to the Steelers. Mm-hmm. I think they're struggling to figure out. Again, we talked about identity. I think they're struggling a little bit to try to figure out who's the guy now. How try to get that identity back who they are. And like you said, man, they got to finish out games. That play at the end against the Chiefs in the back of the end zone, they were literally a toenail away from turning out. And by the way, they were going for two. I don't know if y'all saw that or not. They were going for two. They wasn't kicking the field goal. They was going for the win. With Cincinnati, man, I think that when you have internal problems like that, there's animosity. And animosity is hard to fix. You can fix identity. Yeah, they'll figure it out. But animosity is hard to fix because now you got guys walking around that locker room in that building disgruntled. And so you're looking at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, y'all might be boys, y'all might be cool, but it's like, you paid him, and I'm the one putting in the work too, and you're not even, and you even saw them on the field get into it a bit, kind of arguing back and forth. So there's some animosity going on internally, man, which is much more harder to fix than a team trying to figure it out. The Ravens gonna figure it out.
And they paid him early. It wasn't like Joe Burrow was Lamar or some of these guys. They paid him early. Just like Jamar Chase wants to get paid early. They addressed Joe Burrow with soon as he was eligible for an extension, they turned it in. Chase is eligible for an extension, and they're saying you're going to play for $3 million this year. Go figure.
And that's something you wouldn't do. You said that a bunch of times.
I wouldn't fucking dare. That's why the Jets traded me, because I wasn't playing for that money. It was like, I'm going to stay home. And they knew I was going to stay home. They weren't going to take that chance.
Well, another team that's 0-2, the Broncos. Sean Payton wanted Russ out of Denver, drafted Bo Nix, and now they're starting the season 0-2. You think the Broncos made a mistake by letting Russell Wilson leave?
No, I don't. I think that was the right move for Sean Payton. Sean inherited him. He didn't trade for him. So he didn't want to compound on somebody else's mistake. It ain't his money, number one. So he just said, you know 38. What, let's cut bait and let's start fresh. So the clock resets on Sean. But what happens is, instead of Sean getting a long runway, his runway gets shortened. The more losses he gets on his record, everybody starts saying to themselves, well, you're supposed to be the guy that fixed the team. What happened? You're 0-2. So he gets a little bit of a runway until Bo Nix comes and arrives. But, yeah, you had to move on from Russ, because Russ, they really wasn't feeling him on the team. He getting side-eyed by players on the team. The the linemen looking at him like he got frogs on his face, all of that. So you had to move on.
Yeah, and then too, Sean Payton, like Russell Wilson is not his type of guy. Like Sean Payton's an old school coach, man. Who can coach hard and he can get after Drew Brees. He can get after some of these guys who he coached before. You can't get at Russell Wilson like that because he's not built to handle that style of coaching. I said that the day one when they got him down there. I said, as soon as Sean Payton went down, I said, it's going to be a problem. I knew it was going to be a problem because he started taking shots at them, saying things like he's a politician and kissing babies and having his own trainers. Like he was subliminally taking shots at him the whole time, saying that he's just not his guy. And I think Russell Wilson in general, I don't want to throw this out there and say he's done, but he's not going to ever be the player that he was. And the bigger problem that he's going to have now is that you got somebody there in Justin Fields who's practically better in a way at this point, this stage of his career. So I just for one, don't think it was going to be a better situation. I'm going to say this too. I think they got something in Bo Nix down there, to be honest. I think they got something. I've seen some flashes out of him, and to be a rookie, some of these decision-making and things that he's doing down there, I think they got something in Bo Nix. The problem is they playing in the AFC West where the quarterbacks are loaded outside of the Raiders. But you're playing in a division where you got potentially two of the best in the business, and now you got to see it. By the way, when you go up there and see the Raiders, their defense is humming right now, so you don't want to see them either. So I just think that Bo Nix in Denver is in a bad situation being in that division, but I think that they got something in Bo Nix going forward.
Speaking of another younger quarterback, Panthers are benching Bryce Young.
Yep.
Yeah. Is this the beginning of the end for him?
Bryce is from LA, California. He's a Southern California kid. And I'm all for Southern California guys. I want him to be as successful as possible. The problem with me is that the NFL is a big man's game. Big. Like everybody's big. Smaller, slight guys tend to not do well in the National Football League. That's just the reality of it. Don't give me any outliers of Drew Brees. Don't give me any outliers of Russell Wilson, early Russell with a dominant defense and a strong running game with Marshawn Lynch. Don't do that to me. Let's be factual and real here. Bryce Young, 185 pounds, soaking wet on a rainy day. It's tough. Now, his offensive line is not helping him, but dude barely could see over the line. When I look at triangle numbers, if I was the general manager, even though this was an owner's pick, the owner picked Bryce Young.
Tepper.
Not Tepper, not Frank Reich, not Jim Caldwell. The owner and his wife wanted Bryce Young. The new head coach comes in, and Dave Canales, he like, okay, I'll try to work with it for a short period of time. And then he realizes, no, he's going to get me fired. I got to figure out how to convince the owner that I'm going to bench his ass. It could be the beginning of the end, and it's unfortunate. It just isn't. This isn't college football, man. Think about all these quarterbacks you're talking about. When you mention Justin Herbert, man, Justin Herbert, big old tall drink of water. Okay, C.J. Stroud's a big quarterback. C.J. Stroud's not small.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's not small. Patrick Mahomes is not small. Josh Allen, not small. I could go Dak Prescott, not small. You say, well, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is so much. Sean, he's a whole nother different athlete. This dude top 5 in football and in baseball, in the top 5 in the draft. Right. So it's a different athlete. Bryce Young doesn't have any athletic traits that make you go, oh, my God, we got to have him. And I'm being honest. I'm not hating on him. I'm just telling you what it is.
Like, could you imagine him getting hit by lights out over here? Shawne Merriman.
On the backside, coming off the backside, unblocked.
Yeah, like
unblocked.
But this is what I'm going to say, though. I think, look, you're right about that. I think he's undersized, but he also played in the big conference where half those dudes will play in the NFL anyway. I know it's not the NFL, but size-wise. If I'm Bryce Young, man, I would want to get out of there as fast as possible. I'm requesting a trade. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think that he was doomed walking in the door. Yes. And I don't like these teams putting young guys on the field and forcing them on the field when the team is bad. They did the same thing to Joe Burrow when he got to Cincinnati. Their offensive line was terrible. He was running for his life the first half of the season, and he ended up getting hurt. Yeah. And I still think some of the injuries that he had right now is due to him being thrown on the field too early. The thing is, as you say, Keyshawn, Joe Burrow's a big quarterback.
That's big,
and he's skilled. He's talented. And so he can bounce back from doing that. Bryce Young can't take those hits. But again, if you know you got a bad team, and our offensive line, DJ Moore, it just took off and went to Chicago. You got no big skill players out there. And you want to throw your tiny quarterback, your rookie quarterback in the mix on a bad team, a bad organization, and say, hey, turn this thing around. Right. I think that Bryce Young is mentally, physically, emotionally beat up. He damn near cried. He damn near cried during the game. You can see it. He wanted to cry. And I'm like, this dude is getting beat up all over the place. And if I'm him, I would try to get out of there. And let's not forget, the Panthers had what's the quarterback down there in Tampa?
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. They had him with his hand on the dirt in the scout team a couple years ago.
Yeah.
With his hand in the dirt, playing defense. So on scout team. So what I'm saying is, obviously, they don't know what the hell they're doing out there, and they don't know what they got, because Baker Mayfield sure as hell look good right now. He's down there balling out. So what's the difference? I just think that the organization had a big deal, and I think that throwing a young guy in there can hurt his confidence that he right. can't recover.
You 1,000% right. It all really started going back to last year. If you're going to make the commitment and draft him, what you got to do, Keyshawn, is you got to have a pinata. You got to have a dude that Shawne Merriman could just tee off on like a bag that you would have at practice. Just put that dude out there, let him get beat up for a little bit so Bryce Young could see it. There's no rush. Even though he was a number 1 overall pick, there's no rush. Your team is not good. This is not Mark Sanchez, Rex Ryan, Thomas Jones and company, and the New York Jets went to 2 straight AFC championship games with a young quarterback in Mark Sanchez that they can put out there and say, hey, we want you to hand the football off. Every now and then, we'll let you throw it, but for the most part, we're going to play defense, we're going to run the damn ball, we're going to play good special teams, and we're going to get out of here with a win and go to championship games. Right. With Bryce Young, they put him right out there. They didn't let him even get the opportunity to grow. Now, like Shawne is saying, he mess with his psyche, his mental, all of those sort of things. Now you benched him. So you got Andy Dalton in, and now Andy Dalton's supposed to win some games for you.
No,
he ain't going to win none.
We're still going to lose by 30.
You still going to lose. Now what, you going to go back to Bryce Young?
Exactly. The
whole
end, confidence.
You didn't really give him a fair shot and opportunity to even develop or outside of everything I'm even talking about.
Right. Yeah. You threw him in the fire and then threw him out. There's nothing you could really do.
I don't know how you like the Panthers, though. That's crazy to me.
I'm loyal, man.
That was the last team I played for. I understand.
Cam got me into him, but so just a quick thing. Did you guys see the Packers center vomited in the middle of the field?
Yeah.
You guys saw that?
Yeah.
All right. What is the grossest thing that's happened like in the middle of a game for you guys on the football field?
I'm gonna say this, man. We used to have some offensive linemen that would chew the tobacco, the dip during the games, and just to piss other people off. When they lined the defensive lineman, put their hand in there, they would spit down their hand from their face mask, the tobacco dip. That was probably the nastiest shit I've seen. And I was disgusting. like, for me, that's it. Both of us get ejected. You do something like that, that's over. But I've seen it. And so when I saw that, I think they had vomit on the football, right? I think he said they had the vomit or something like that on the football, that's why he didn't throw it. I don't know if that was true or not, but that's just some nasty shit, man, to be honest. That's pretty gross.
Yeah, the vomit, I've seen vomiting a bunch, but not on the football. I've seen it where linemen or running, just players in general. No, players in general, before the games, the anxiety or whatever it is, they throw up, they vomit. I've seen it. I've seen it on the field with dude just, you remember Donovan McNabb in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He earled, but the nastiest thing I ever seen, and it had to be an offensive lineman, clearly, white pants on.
Oh, man.
Had a little stomach issue.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, literally. Had a little stomach issue and let loose.
Damn.
Yeah, you was like,
disgusting.
Come on, man, seriously. You let loose. And then he had to go in, change his clothes, come back out. He missed probably
a quarter,
a few snaps. No, it was fast, but yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
What year was that?
This was I was in Tampa.
Okay.
It was in Tampa. Yeah, it wasn't good.
So Shawne, you launched your own streaming service called Lights Out Sports. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, yes, Lights Out Sports TV, man. It's my new free ad-supported streaming service. We've been up and running about 3 months now. You can find us on like all the major smart TVs: Roku, Apple TV, Vizio, LG, Philips, Amazon Fire. We're all there. Then we got 30 channels right now from motocross, motorsports, wrestling, outdoor fishing, hunting, all that. 250 sports movies and documentaries. And then we got a bunch of live sports in there too, man. So you guys check us out. We're on iOS, Apple, Android. We're all there. Lights Out Sports TV.
Man, I need a job.
You got one. So I was about to ask you.
I need to get paid, man. I need a job. No, congratulations on Lights Out Sports. Congrats.
Yeah, appreciate that. And then too, we just had this cool 60-minute live stream tailgating show, which is crazy because it's like the college NFL game day, but for the NFL, like during the game. So it's 2 hours before kickoff. Our next one we got is against Kansas City Chiefs out in SoFi parking lot. 60-minute live stream, 2 hours before kickoff. So like, guys in like the RVs, they go in the chefs, the grills. They out there music, drinking, having the ball, man. This is like some crazy shit. And it's super cool too, man, because it's authentic. I'm just making sure that we don't get something crazy like the Hawk Tour girl to just jump in there and say something crazy on live that we got to scrub out real quick.
He doesn't know who that is.
I don't even know who that is. I keep hearing about this person. I have no idea.
He don't know?
He's not really on it too much.
My son will tell you, man, I'm oblivious to any of that sort of,
Talk
stuff.
to her. You saw that podcast? She made her own podcast.
Why would I see her podcast? What the fuck am I watching somebody called Hawk Tour? I don't even know what that is.
It's funny. It's just a meme. You don't know anything.
No, I don't know. I have no idea. Shawne, I have zero idea. I'm like the real old man, even though I'm not an old man.
Nah, I'm the tweener, man. Like I know a little bit about both. So, but I'm climbing up there. But the Hawk Tour thing is just it was like crazy viral, and so it's a live stream show out in the middle of the parking lot. So I'm like, man, last thing we need is something like the Hawk Tour.
Somebody coming in saying something crazy,
saying something crazy. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna.
I think that. I would want it, but there's some people like you, or I guess him, that don't want stuff like that on.
No, I ain't with that. I ain't with that buffoonery. That ain't nah. And a lot of that with me is how I was raised, how I process things. I'm not with the buffoonery at all whatsoever. You, on the other hand, you probably embrace that, but no problem at all. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
That's why he won it. That's why now I'm thinking about it. I'm like,
I'm going to tune in for sure. I'm getting it. see if something comes up.
20-something-year-old kids, boy. Y'all something else. Thanks a lot, man, for joining us on the show. I really appreciate it. Good luck again. And if I'm ever at a game or something and you need me to, I don't know, jump on for some streaming stuff, I'm all with it.
Man, appreciate you, dog.
All right, Dad. So let's get to your power rankings. Last week you had the Cowboys at 6, Ravens at 5, Lions at 4, Eagles at 3, 49ers at 2, and Chiefs at 1. So you got any changes for this week?
Yeah, see, I can tell you right now, the Cowboys ain't in there.
Yeah, I would think so,
The Ravens ain't in there, and the Lions ain't in there.
Right.
I could surely tell you that, but when you look at it, I start off at number 6 with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's a 2-0 football team that goes into Detroit when nobody really thought that they would, including myself.
I was going to say, except for me, best bet plus 7.5 hit for the Buccaneers. Just want to add that. We're 2-0, but
hopefully
continue.
You made some money.
Believe that, but continue.
The Bucs, though, in the end, they 2-0. They're sitting at 6.
Okay.
Number 5 for me, the New Orleans Saints, another team out of the same division, 2-0. They go into Dallas. Dallas just waxed up Cleveland, even though Carolina gave a real great game to the New Orleans Saints. Woo!
We won't talk about it.
That was such a game, but no, New Orleans took care of business. AK-41 decided that he was going to run the football all over the place, and Alvin Kamara, Derek Carr looked like the Derek Carr that Michael Thomas thought he was getting last year, and he's just on fire. They scored 91 points in the first 2 games. They sit at the number 5 spot.
They got a new offensive coordinator, right?
They got a new offensive coordinator in Gary Kubiak's son, who is pretty good. I mean, he's obviously changing some stuff around. You see a lot of pre-snap motions. It's almost like the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan system that's employed, and they all kind of come from the same tree. Kubiak was in Denver with Shanahan, and they were all together in Washington with the Gruden. So it's all kind of the same system. So you sitting there with them at the 5th spot. And number 4 for me is the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers drop down because they lose in Minnesota, but they also lose Christian McCaffrey for a little bit, Deebo Samuel for a little bit.
Close game.
They see right now they're 4. Next week, they may not even be in it, depending on how they play, what they look like. Because people would say, well, why they lose? And they're at 4, it don't make no sense. How come Minnesota's not in there? They're 2-0. Well, you don't know if Minnesota's in there. I got 3 more shots of putting them in, right?
Yeah.
But so people would start to question that. But I like San Francisco chances. By the time we get to the end of the year, they're still going to be standing.
Right.
At number 3, I had the Eagles a year ago.
Last week.
But now I got the Buffalo Bills at 2-0, sitting at number 3. They took care of business at home against the Arizona Cardinals in week 1, although they started off rocky. I think at one time it was 17-3. They erased that deficit with Josh Allen. They wound up winning that game, going on the road to Miami, taking care of business in Miami, a team that they've owned for Lord knows how long. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
And they win that football game going away. They have control of the division. They sit at number 3. Number 2 was the San Francisco 49ers that dropped from the 2 spot down to the 4 spot. I put a team in there 2-0 in the Houston Texans that was not in here at all last week. They could have been 7. They could have been 8. They could have been 9.
Yeah.
But they're 2-0. They lead the division. I had them at the start of the season as the number 2 team coming out of the AFC. If the Kansas City Chiefs didn't come out of there, I had the Houston Texans coming out of the AFC, and C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins and company and Joe Mixon and company are now sitting at 2-0, and they're number 2 in my power ranking in my top 6 this week. And number 1 is easy. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. There's nothing to – why are we even having a conversation? Although that game was close against the Cincinnati Bengals, they squeaked out 2 consecutive wins, one against the Ravens, the second one against the Kansas City Chiefs. Against the Cincinnati Bengals. But what you going to say? You can't dock them because it's close victories. They won the game. They win in many different ways. Now Pacheco's on the shelf. Hollywood Brown's on the shelf. We'll see how they continue to progress as the season wears on.
So you don't like so if we had like the Vikings, where would you put them? Probably 7 or 8? Because you got a team that they beat in the
Justin
top
Jefferson
5.
just got banged up.
Yeah, he's hurt.
I'll probably the Vikings could be in the top 6, 7, somewhere in there. If I really had to really had a gun to my head and I had to choose, they would be 6 or 7.
Okay, so now we got the Call Keyshawn segment. So we got voicemails from fans.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Keyshawn. Leave your name, where you from, and let us know how you feeling or what you want to know or talk about, okay? Keep it under 30 damn seconds, too. And don't be all that craziness. Just talk clean and clear. Okay, bye. Pretty interesting. Sound like me, huh?
Yeah.
So here's what I would say. So the number to call us is 915-295-3228. That's 915-295-FACT, which is 3228. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to be featured on this show, don't act ignorant. Don't call in acting crazy, and do not leave a voicemail more than like 30, 31 seconds. If we get the clocking in and it's longer than that, then we'll move on to the next person. So let's take a listen to our first caller and find out what he's thinking.
Hey, Keyshawn. This is Matthew Brooks. I'm from just north of Little Rock, Arkansas. And the one topic I want to talk about is who could be the next Cowboys head coach, because clearly Mike McCarthy doesn't have what it takes to get us over the hump. I've even thought about Deion Primetime Sanders making his move to the NFL. And if it's not him, who should be the next Cowboys head coach if Mike McCarthy's contract is not renewed next year? Just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Thanks.
Well, I look.
I feel like this is a question that gets asked every time the Dallas Cowboys lose.
Well, the coach is on the hot seat, and he has 15 more games left on his contract.
Yeah.
So he's basically a lame duck coach. So the question is fair. You start looking at coaching candidates that's out there. The first name that comes to mind is Bill Belichick. Then you got Vrabel. Is Mike Vrabel in the mix? Then you start looking at other coaches. Is Mike Zimmer, Deion? Like, those are the type of coaches that's available. But it's so early, man. I got the Cowboys going 2-4. So I got them losing to the Ravens.
In the first 6 weeks?
Yeah, I got them losing to the Ravens this weekend.
Okay.
Beating the Giants the following weekend.
Okay, so they'll be 2-2.
Then I got them losing to Pittsburgh. losing to the Lions.
Wow, losing to Pittsburgh.
Going on a bye.
Okay.
And losing to the San Francisco 49ers.
To 2-5.
No, wait. Is my math wrong? The Ravens. So they got the Ravens. Oh, I got them beating the Giants, losing to the Ravens, beating the Giants. I think they played Pittsburgh, Detroit. I may be missing a team there. I don't know.
But 2-4. Like you don't have them winning more than 2 games.
Not in the first 6, no.
Okay.
No. I got them actually firing the coach the bye week.
So then, well, who do you think is going to be the head coach? Like just the offensive coordinator or something?
They'll probably put Mike Zimmer in that spot. Okay. That's just what I got. But that Jerry Jones has only done this one time since he's been the owner when he let Wade Phillips go, I think in like week 9 of that season.
Okay.
So let's go to caller number 2.
Hey, what's up, Keyshawn? This is Bruce from Philly. I'm a longtime fan. Obviously Eagles fan, and I will never forget the year you and the Bucks beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Congrats on that and that year. I wanted to know, what were your thoughts on that season? You know, why do you feel like the Eagles didn't make it through? Because they were the favorites, you know what I mean? What do you feel like they were lacking? And how do you feel about this year's Eagles? How do you feel about Jalen and Nick and everything they're trying to accomplish? Do you think they're going to get it done? Or do you think it's going to be another letdown year like last one?
So let's start.
Man, much success, much love. Keep on keeping on.
All right, cool.
A little over 30, yeah.
But let's start by saying they didn't get it done because they was too confident. They had beat us earlier in the year. It felt like they were so confident that they beat us in the regular season that when they saw us in the NFC Championship game, because they had beaten us, I felt like they had beaten us like the last 3 times that we faced them, whether it was the regular season or the playoffs. So they felt good about where they were at. But they felt so good that they had already sent like all their equipment and stuff to San Diego for the Super Bowl, even though they hadn't played the NFC Championship
they thought you guys were a joke.
Oh, yeah, they was advanced. They was advanced team and everything.
Yeah.
They had to turn their ass around when they got to New Mexico, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. By the time they got to New Mexico, they had to turn around and come all the way back. Imagine that. Them dudes driving their trucks and driving all this stuff and realize, oh, shit, we just lost.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
I think they were overconfident. In terms of this team this year.
Well, he also asked about last year. He said what went wrong last year.
Oh, last year was just a lot of internal stuff. They had some internal issues going on. 2 different defensive coordinators. They didn't trust Brian Johnson as offensive coordinator. It was just Jalen Hurts was hurt. Mm-hmm. They couldn't run the football well. That's why they went and got Saquon Barkley. Now, when you fast forward to this year, they 1-1. They lose last night, but that's okay. I think they still on a collision course to see the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Jalen Hurts looked phenomenal running the football. He had some nice throws. They lost last night without A.J. Brown.
Right.
A.J. Brown in the game is a different ball game.
Yeah.
He got a bigger receiver. That ball that was thrown to Devontae Smith, he couldn't squeeze it with strength.
The out route.
Yeah, he couldn't squeeze it with strength. You got a bigger receiver there in A.J. Brown. He's going to be able to snatch that thing out the air and keep it moving. Yeah. So I'm not worried about the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're going to be on a collision course to see the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game again.
Okay. We got one more caller.
What's up, Keyshawn? This is Max from Cali. Do yourself a favor, man. You need to fire your barber. He disrespected you. I'm used to you looking all fresh and stuff, but lately he got you looking like trash. So you need to fire your barber. Fight on. Much love.
Fire my barber? Man, what the fuck wrong with my hair?
I can't talk. I don't got a cut right now.
Man, what's wrong with my hair?
I plead the fifth. I think it's cool.
What's wrong with my boy hair?
They're on you. I think it's cool.
Man, what is he talking about? I switched up. What do you want me to? First of all, he probably want me to keep having a frohawk so everybody in TV that's a black dude got frohawks now. No, I don't want.
Maybe he wants you to go bald or something like that.
No, maybe I'm not doing that. When I look up all these dudes on television that wasn't wearing frohawks, all of a sudden they wearing frohawks. I don't know. No, so I just, I like to say that I got the what's my man that played for the Denver Nuggets? Light-skinned bro?
Jamal
or not
MPJ?
Jamal.
Michael Porter?
Is he Michael Porter Jr. or Gordon? No, I think it's Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
I got the Michael Porter Jr. look without the lines.
You do.
And then if I would have, wet it, it's gonna curl up on it. I don't know what this dude Joker talking about, man. I hate to see his hair.
That's what I said. He might be bald or something. That's why.
No, he probably got some. His shit probably just weak in general. Well, anyway, that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks again to Shawne Merriman. Remember to follow us on All Facts Pod on social media. and subscribe on YouTube. Until next time, I appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.